26, 2021, here with your NFL Pick Show. Week 3 NFL picks and predictions. Joe and I have been up and down this schedule this week, and today's finally the day where the games are played and the lines are set. Got some early bets in, but of course, a lot of these lines have moved. Joe, you ready for NFL Sunday?
I'm so excited. I woke up so early today. NFL Sunday always almost feels like you're going on vacation. I don't know what it is. When I go on vacation, I can't sleep. When I wake up Sunday morning, it's bright and early, ready for these games to start.
Yeah, well, you crushed it in college football yesterday once again. Joe has been on fire since joining the site, both on the premium YouTube show as well as her premium picks on the site. She's been crushing it. So if you haven't checked those out, well, you have missed out because I'll tell you what, the ladies have been killing it. People have left, comments and stuff. Oh, if you lose, say like one time to Rod, if you lose to a girl or something, it's like, you gotta be kidding me. It's like the women on our side, I think, have been a lot better and more consistent than the men. And, we, like I always say, I don't care where the winners come from. You guys can get me a caterpillar that chews a leaf that says Cubs on it. I'll take it. It's like, Joe, we're glad to have you and glad that you've been handing out these winners to everybody. I think everyone is super grateful.
Yeah, looking to have another big day. I'm excited for these games. We've got so many on the board, so much value out there. So it's going to be a fun one.
Anything yesterday in college football surprised you before we switch to the NFL?
Yeah, super disappointed to go to bed and wake up to see the Ducks didn't cover that spread last night. But I did love seeing NC State Wolfpack get that win straight up against Clemson. I knew they would cover. I thought they were going to cover or get that money line win.
4 ranked teams went down yesterday, and several other teams, super popular teams, like the Michigan and Michigan States of the world, not covering the spread. So I'm going to guess the books had a monster day yesterday, cleaning up on the public money. But, it was a good day of college football. It wasn't a perfect day, that's for sure. I started fast. I finished slow. But, we got NFL Sunday here as well. And we've got our first guest of today's show. We've got Joe and Dionne D'Amico, the hosts of Las Vegas, both of them. So it's Dionne's first time on the show with us, and she's not nervous at all. It's really we don't usually get about 1,000 people, but 5,000-6,000 people that watch our show, something like that. It's not like the millions out there or anything. But so I'm gonna cut right to the chase. I'm gonna ask her the important stuff here. So a few years ago, I was at your guys' Super Bowl party, and they had this chicken parmesan at this place that several years later now, I'm still talking about it, okay? Here I am talking about it. I'm taking the time on our football show to talk about this chicken parm. Do you think, like, these hole-in-the-wall places like that in Vegas, would you prefer those to the places like the big name places, or do you think that you have to find the right blend of these places? Or, because everyone here is always trying to, they always ask me about Vegas when, you guys are the ones they should be asking, but it's like, what do you think? I mean, do you like? I mean, on the Strip, obviously they have the big name chefs, but off the Strip, they have some great chefs. I mean, just all different ethnic backgrounds, all different types of. I mean, where do we even begin with this stuff? Because I love a good taco. Everyone knows that.
We seem to find good food in both high class restaurants and the little dive bars. The little small rinky-dink restaurants that are tucked away in shopping centers that nobody even knows about. We're kind of big foodie people, so we kind of get around to a lot of them. So it's a little bit of both places. I would say.
When I first moved here, Mitch, 30 years ago, there was 8 good places to eat. Now there's 800 on the Strip and off the Strip, so we're really lucky.
Yeah.
I see the people flocking to In-N-Out Burger, and I say to myself, you're a cab ride away from one of the more unbelievable, lesser known Chinatowns in the world. Yes. I mean, and it's because it's not just really Chinese food there. It's all sorts of Asian food. And you can get the kind of like super chef food there too, with these kind of, up and coming young guys that are, I went to a restaurant there. They only served urchin. That was all they had on the menu, like 95 different ways. And it was unbelievable, and it's like, you just don't find that anywhere else but in Vegas.
Yes.
I also like a good donut, and Vegas has some good donuts. You can either get like the super fancy donut there, or you can just get the regular coffee dunker donut. It's like
regular Dunkin' Donuts are the best.
They do. They just have amazing places. The thing I miss most about Vegas is the food. Here in Maui, not quite as good, but Joe Madden, also a big fan of Vegas as well. So we're excited to have you guys on the show.
Thank you.
So down to business here, Joe. What are you thinking here? NFL Sunday, Week 3.
Joe D'Amico or Joe Madden?
Joe D'Amico.
I'm never afraid to chime in. Well, first, I got to tell you, yesterday, I was very happy with yesterday. The one loss that I had on the whole premium card, Kansas State. So pissed off about that, but I won 3 big winners for everybody yesterday. But it's always the losses that stick in my crow more than the winners that you remember. So, but I'm going into today. There is one game on the board that really caught my mind. I want to talk about the Packer game with San Francisco. It's the late game on the board. And normally I save the late game, Mitch and Joe, for like a late bailout for the premium plays for guys that haven't won enough money that day. But I really felt strongly about this game, and I wanted to save it for this show. The Packers are still slated to represent the NFC come this February. There's no doubt about that. Their embarrassing season opening loss to the Saints fueled their fire. They came back last week. They shredded the Lions. They got their offense back on track. I think their game was as sharp as we can expect it to be. But I do feel that this matchup here, Green Bay needs to put away any doubts behind them, go forward with confidence, because they need to believe in themselves as much as their fans and even us handicappers believe in them. San Francisco, guys, they have a slew of injuries, particularly into their running game. Currently, 5 running backs are listed as either questionable or out, without a solid rushing attack to clutch on. And I'm a big fan of Jimmy Garoppolo. He's Italian. Anybody's last name that ends in a vowel, I got to root for. Otherwise, they get like ostracized from the Vatican or something. But I root for him. But when he doesn't have a rushing attack to clutch on, he's not the same quarterback. We've seen this over the last few years. He just isn't as effective when his running game sputters. On the other hand, let me tell you who is a great quarterback. Aaron Rodgers. He is an MVP quarterback. He shines in both tough situations and big games. This contest, guys, he shines like the sun. I pulled some ATS numbers. The 49ers, 2-6 their last 8 games played at home. Even more just overwhelming. 5-20-1 the last 26 games played as a home favorite. They don't get people paid, and I really do like the line of this. I'm taking the Packers here, folks. If you do too, you're going to take your bookmaker's money. Short and sweet, just like me today, Mitch.
Well, Aaron Rodgers cashed halftime for Joe, and I cashed $11,268 on the Packers second half last week, right on our live show. Joe, what do you think on this one, Joe Madden? She's having some internet issues here.
Oh, are you talking to me now?
Yes, I am.
Sorry, I couldn't hear a word you said except internet issues, and then I knew it was me. In this matchup, this is a tough one for me. I do think the 49ers could take this game. I'm worried about the Packers and what we've seen so far. I know they had a great game in the last one. That first game, though, it's got something stuck in my gut. I'm going to wait till halftime to bet this one. I'm going to see then how I'm liking it, because my gut's telling me to take the 49ers minus the points, but it will be a wait for me.
Yeah, I think this is one of those ones where I've been roasted on the Packers against the 49ers so many times. I know last year the Packers took them, but man, have I done some really sad halftime shows when these Packers-Niners game. Some of my halftime shows are really easy. Some of them are really difficult, and Aaron Rodgers has made it very difficult on me a few times already. So I'm kind of I can make a case either way in this one. Dionne, what do you have going on today? I know Dionne's just been killing it. I mean, absolutely killing it on the boards.
Mitch, I have to tell you, I'm so pissed off because the other day we were working. Her office is right next to mine. We were working on games together, and because she's like 9-2 in college football. I said,
right
by
now.
the way, honey, who do you like in college football? You know what she told me? 21 years married. You know what she told me? If you want my game, go to PickDawgz and go buy it.
It's I gotta say I'm kind of mad. I haven't been buying her picks to be honest with you. I think I'd be doing.
I love it.
That's for sure.
Well, I have one NFL game for today. So I'm going to go ahead and start with, So I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings up in Michigan, but to put it simply, Detroit just can't win. Granted, they've played two strong NFC opponents in San Francisco and Green Bay, but yet new quarterback, same old story. Jared Goff can throw the ball, but has already thrown 2 interceptions. Their offensive line is a mess, and they have no running game to ease Goff's burden. This will be an issue here today. So far, Baltimore's defense has gone up against 2 very strong offenses in Las Vegas and Kansas City. This is a proud and talented stop unit that must make a statement here. The Ravens D will make an example of the Lions offense in this matchup. The Detroit defense has gotten crushed for over 76 points already, and now they must face one of the most explosive offenses in NFL. Baltimore is number 1 in rushing, number 3 in the total yards, and number 4 in scoring. The Ravens, they have covered the last 3 meetings in this series, outscoring the Lions 110 to 39. I pulled some against the spread numbers. Baltimore is 6-1, their last 7 games played as a favorite, 11-5 in their last 6 games played on the road, and 8-2 their last 10 played overall. This is a team that gets the bettors paid. The line is currently 7.5, so I'm taking the Ravens.
The Ravens love to beat up on lousy teams. It's like that is what they're known for. Joe Madden, what are you thinking of this one?
Yeah, Devon, you had me right away as soon as you said Jared Goff. That is the determination here. There's no way backing the Lions and Jared Goff today. I'm with you 100%. Let's cash with the Ravens big time today.
So
I agree.
True story. Last week and at halftime of the Monday night game, Joe and I are sitting here. The Packers are losing the game. They're laying 6.5 in the second half. And all these people coming in the comments, because I'm saying this is the back up the truck moment. This is that thing. And people are like, oh, Aaron Rodgers lost it. The Lions are, they can't stop them and all that stuff. Joe and I just look at each other and we're just like, it's Jared Goff and the Detroit freaking Lions. It's like, come on. You got to be kidding yourself. And I think this is a lot of the same case. The Ravens don't pass the ball really well, but they certainly can run like no one's business. They've been, I think, the last 2 years, the number 1 rushing team in the NFL and dead last in passing. But it just seems that Lamar Jackson, it never looks pretty. It never looks like, this great, Tom Brady perfect drop back throw or whatever. But it just, when he does complete that pass, it always seems to be this money play. And having a guy like Brown, to throw to just makes him even more dangerous. I'm with you. The Ravens, they kill the bad teams. They just do.
She's even gonna make me buy her NFL games today. I'm getting pissed at her. I asked her who she likes today, and she said once again, go to PickDawgz and buy it.
Yep. 2 big winners there today.
Well, what do you got for sale today, Dionne, for us? I see you got an NFL touchdown play.
I do. After going 9-2 in college yesterday, I'm very proud of that. Today, I have 2 big winners on the board today. I have my touchdown play, and I have my best bet play. And you can get both of them right here at PickDawgz.
And Joe, how about you? It's funny because it's like normally Joe is like the loud. He's like, all right, it's like Dionne's there. He's like on his very best behavior. It's like
I like Donnie and Marie. I'm a little rocker. I'm always on my best behavior when she's around. She's definitely the better half of the D'Amico clan. I don't have a problem. And by the way, when you said earlier about people talking, I think you mentioned Rod losing to a girl with Joe Madden earlier on the season. Guys, sports fans out there, make no mistake of it. Women are the smarter and the stronger sex. God did not trust us to carry or give birth. So there goes the argument for that. I have no problem. I'm in the foreground because I'm the louder, the more obnoxious by far, but she's definitely the better and the smarter of the handicapper. I have a couple of games on the board today. 11-2 overall, Mitch and Joe, on big games between college and pro football this season. I have nothing but big games. I only have 2 games on the board. I have my NFL high roller, which are already 2-0 this season, and my first NFL bookie buster of the campaign. Last year, documented 12-2 right here at PickDawgz. Today we go 2-0, both winners right here, PickDawgz. Either way, you can't go wrong with a D'Amico, but I'll tell you what, she's still the smarter one and the hotter handicapper. Pissing me off.
Well, we appreciate having both of you on, and hopefully next week you guys bring the dogs with you. We have the real whole D'Amico clan. What are the dogs' names? You got, they're all like...
Yeah, we have Teaser, we have Dice, we have Pygow, and we have Keno.
Nice, and I know the other ones all resting over the Rainbow Bridge, but I think they've covered. Well, you still got a lot of gambling terms to go. So
we had jackpot and parlay across the Rainbow Bridge. Actually, they're all sitting right around us right now, sleeping out cold. Out cold. It is hysterical, and we're laughing. That's why we were laughing during the show, because Keno is right underneath us snoring right now. But there are good luck shots. She's snoring. So I thought that you'd be picking that up. So I thought that you'd be picking up her snoring. So I lowered the mic a little bit. But it's a great day when you can spend your time with your wife and your dogs, and even Dad's down the hall. We're gonna all go to breakfast and enjoy some big Sunday winners in the NFL today.
Well, Joe and I are both dog people, so we're all dog people here. Anyways, have a great day, guys. Thank you for joining us, and of course, we'll see you next week right here on PickDawgz. You can get their picks at PickDawgz. Like I said, Dionne, red hot. We're happy to have her.
Thank you, guys.
Happy to have her.
Good luck to everybody on the panel.
Thank you very much.
Everybody out there, good luck. Have a winning day. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Have a good day, guys.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Best of luck, you guys.
Thank you.
Of course, that was Joe and Dionne D'Amico, the host and hostess of Las Vegas. Fun having her. Dionne hasn't really been on a lot of shows before. She's kind of new to this. She's been capping forever. I've known them for a long time. I mean, obviously, and I know that she's really good at picking games. It's like I've known that for a long time, but she hasn't been.
You know what I would love, Mitch?
What's that, Joe?
I'm going to interrupt. You know what I would love? And I wanted to ask them if they've ever been on opposite sides of a game and had to sit on that same couch together watching it.
Oh,
that would be fun to see.
We will have to ask them next week when they're on. You could probably do a whole show on that.
Because you know what? I know my friends that are on opposite teams to me, like just because they're fans or whatever, and I'm betting it, I can't even sit in the same room with them. So I couldn't imagine a husband and wife relationship where you're both on opposite. It'd be a stressful game.
Yeah, I watch games, I watch games in sports books with, over the years. So I've watched games with people not on my side, and that's why I don't watch games in sports.
Oh, sports books are fine, but that friends, I don't know, becomes friends off at game time.
Yeah, I struggle more with the fantasy people, it's like, I'm watching the game and, I whatever bet on it. And they're like, oh, I got this guy and, oh, great, this guy scored a touchdown. Oh, but I'm playing, I got this defense starting in my other league and this is in this league. And it's like, how many leagues is this person in? It's enough. But speaking about a lot of leagues, we're bringing Chris Ruffolo for our next segment. And Chris, of course, the co-host of the Drive-Thru Show. See him every Monday through Friday. Chris, what do you think of Joe and Dionne there? Dionne, a little bit nervous. Tried to get her out of her shell a little bit. I know she was like super prepared for her segment, and that's fine. If you go back and look at my first video on YouTube, I've shown this to a bunch of people. Joe has seen it too, and not so pretty. not so easy as it looks, and that's why you don't see a lot of people out here doing this stuff. And Chris, I remember your first time on, not exactly the most comfortable situation. Now it's like it's old hat, right? It's like you roll out of bed and do it. But back then, I remember having the PickDawgz, and they were kind of PickDawgz kind of had their tail between their legs on day one.
I just keep saying, all she has to do is get one game right of her first 9, and she'll already be one game better than I was. So,
yeah, I think Chris started actually, yeah, you're right. I think you lost like your first 9 games you gave out.
I went 0-9. Yeah, I went 0-4 the first day, and then I went 0-5 the second day before I finally got in the win column.
It's odd that you find people that are like, some people are just a natural, like Joe Man, natural, right? I mean, it's just no problem, and it's like, and at this point, we can all roll out of bed and do these things, but it is way easier said than done. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I still get nervous every time right before we go on. That like 2 seconds where you're like, okay, we're going. I'm like, all the butterflies. I'm like, don't spill my coffee.
But anyways, Chris, you had a slew of plays yesterday. How many plays you got today for your premium picks?
For today, I got a 5-pack of the afternoon action, as well as my favorite play in that Sunday night matchup. But I still picked out 3 games for the free plays for the viewers today. So,
like, how do you decide like what qualifies as a premium play? Because I know some days, some days you have a ton, some days you just have a few. I mean, what is it? Like, what's the thing that puts it over the mark for you?
Honestly, it's one of those things we always said in our videos or in the live show. It's the games we have our money on. Some days it's just I feel very good about certain games. Other days, well, there's, like you said, there's just only 1 or 2 that I really feel comfortable putting my money on. It's one of those days where it's as it always is, a day-by-day process. And it's one of those things where it's just, like I said, you just take it one day at a time, and every day is going to be different.
Well, I know it's your Shotgun Sunday 5-pack today, so why don't you get us started with the free pick here?
Absolutely. First one I'm going to look at, I'm looking at this Chicago Bears-Cleveland Browns matchup. For a lot of different reasons. There's a lot of storylines going into this game. The return of Odell Beckham Jr., first real NFL start for Justin Fields. But, the Bears, a lot's being made about that, the matchup in week 1 where Andy Dalton kind of, dink and dunked his way through that game. And then they forced 4 turnovers from Cincinnati, but still only put up 13 total points. And that was including a pick 6 from Roquan Smith. Justin Fields, is he ready for the big stage on his own? I'm not so sure, but he's going to bring a bit of a spark to this offense that Andy Dalton just doesn't bring. And, the Browns, they struggled to put away the Texans, and we saw Kansas City expose this defense downfield in week 1. We all talk about the pass rush with Myles Garrett, but this is still a very, very vulnerable Browns secondary with Denzel Ward back there. And you look at the Browns, they just don't put teams away very, they don't put teams away very convincingly. I mean, since the start of 2020, 7 of the 12 wins have come by 6 points or less. I think this is a close game. I think the Bears keep this one within the number.
Joe Madden?
Yeah, I just don't see it. I'm sorry, Chris. I really think Justin Fields, what we saw out of him, looked like a true rookie. I was the biggest advocate for him to come out and start over Andy Dalton because I do not like Andy Dalton. He's with Jared Goff with me. And I looked at him when he came out in that last game, and Justin Fields just didn't look ready. So that's the only reason. Well, there's a lot of reasons, but that's my main reason that I really think the Bears won't cover the spread today with the points. I really like Cleveland to come out and put on a good performance. We saw them week 1. They almost beat Kansas City. I think, yes, they've got holes, but against this Bears team with a real rookie quarterback, I think Cleveland takes it today.
I agree with Joe. I think you are a foolish man. The Bears, just are 1-5 against the number in their last 6 as a road underdog. And I know the Browns have been hideous at home, but one thing we know about rookie quarterbacks and why they're not as good as experienced quarterbacks, unless there's a few exceptions to the rule that have happened over the years of guys that have come in as a rookie. The difference between the guys who come in as a rookie and are able to excel at the NFL level is guys like Dan Marino and Phil Rivers who have the lightning quick release, right? And Justin Fields does not have that. He has athletic ability, sure. He looks like a big guy, playing against the second and third string does not look as big against NFL starters as we saw last week. Now, the thing is that NFL rookie quarterbacks generally hold on to the ball way too long. They also think they can outrun NFL defenders like they did in college. Doesn't happen because these defensive linemen are 300 pounds, but they run 4.5 40s. And that is the issue here for a guy like Justin Fields. Going to be a bad day, learning experience. I'm with Joe Madden on this one, and I'm going with I'm going on the opposite side here.
That's okay. Foolish and lack of vision is tattooed on my forearm at this point.
You're a foolish man. I said it. I was going to say Joe said it, not me, but actually I said it, didn't I?
That's okay. I'm at peace with it at this point. But maybe I'll be foolish for this one too. We'll have to see. But the next one I'm looking at, I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals here, plus the points against the Steelers. I know the AFC North, known for being the black and blue division for hard-hitting physical football and that just being that way for 60 minutes over the course of a game. But you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is a team that's just black and blue as it is. You know, Ben Roethlisberger, Deontay Johnson, TJ Watt, all questionable for this game. And Johnson's probably the most likely to miss time. If he ends up missing it, this is going to be big for this Steelers offense that just has not looked dynamic through their first couple of games. And the defense, frankly, needs TJ Watt. They only put up one sack after the loss to the Raiders last week. And Joe Burrow, yes, he's been sacked a league high 10 times this season. But I think that the Bengals pass rush has been serviceable this season, one of the higher pass block rates in the league. And I think that with dynamic players like Joe Mixon, T. Higgins there, I think the Bengals have a shot at winning this one outright. I'm taking the Bengals plus the points.
Joe Madden, cross-examination.
No cross-examination on this one, Chris. So with this game, it's a stay away from me. For me, I was looking at this line, and it's just baiting me to take the Steelers, and I just don't want to touch it because it should be a straight-up easy Steelers 4-point win at home. But something is telling me just to stay off this one and not touch it. So good luck with the Bengals. I don't have enough faith to bet either of these teams today.
Last year, the Bengals broke the seal against the Steelers, finally got that elusive win against them. The Steelers have looked absolutely horrible, so far this season. They've played one good half of football. That was against Buffalo the second half, and they got a favorable call in that game that kind of put it there. Yeah, the line looks odd, and, the sharps are on, the Bengals 38% of the bets, 70-something% of the money, right? Is like, at least in the sample that we have, which we don't know how accurate it is because we don't know where it comes from. But at the same time, the Steelers do have a lot of talent on this team. And, if they're able to pound the football at the Bengals, this one could be, one of those one-sided Steeler-Bengal games. I'm kind of with Joe here. I see other places where I'd rather be. I don't like Mike Tomlin's like one of my favorite head coaches, but I really don't like the game plans that he's put together last week against the Raiders. I don't understand how you're in I could see this in a game where you're behind or whatever, and even if you're well ahead, I could see it. Third and 2 or second and third and 2, you're a running football team. It's like, just take the freaking first down. It's third and a short 2, It's like you don't need to throw it 40 yards down the field to Chase Claypool to make a tightrope catch. And even worse is that he'll catch one of 9 of those things. And they actually think that it's a good idea. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, especially, and that's what cost him that game. Eric Ebron's not going to catch that pass. I got news for you. He's not going to catch it. Basically he gets hit in the chest every single game. Why is this guy on the varsity? I don't even understand it. I know he runs fast. He looks like he could be a big player, but I don't see it. I know Big Ben is hurt. We all know that. This guy's been hurt for 12 years, and he's always played hurt and whatever. And they have solid backups. I'm not a Mason Rudolph guy, but I think everybody else on that, as far as the backups that they have, can play. But I'm just concerned about the game plan, actually, and especially when you spent your first round draft choice to get a running back. It's like, when the hell don't you give him the football? Anyways, I don't know. I'm on a hard pass on this one. I just don't. I don't love that 32nd ranked rushing attack for the Steelers. No. I don't understand it. Is their line that bad? Maybe it is. Chris, what else you got for us?
All right, well, my last one. I think Joe's going to have an appreciation for this one. It's not possible that the Chiefs could lose 2 games in a row, right? It's just like it's one of those unwritten rules, but I don't believe it. You look at the narrative with that game. Yes, they're 4-1 in their last, I want to say 6 games, but I'm not counting that Chad Henne game from last year against the Chargers. But the Chiefs just haven't been blowing away the Chargers as of late. Especially Patrick Mahomes has only broken 300 yards once against the Chargers, and he needed overtime in that game to do it. I like LA's defensive front. They got one of the Bosa brothers. They've got Derwin James. This is a solid Chargers team, and can't forget about Justin Herbert. He's only been in the league just over a year, but he's still starting to make those passes that some of the better quarterbacks in the league are making. And as long as the Chargers don't shoot themselves in the foot, I think this is a potential spot where you could see the Chargers pull out the money line win here at plus 260. It may need overtime to do it, or it may need to make us sweat a little bit over the course of the fourth quarter. But you can take the points if you want. I'm taking a shot with the Chargers on the money line in this one. I think great value on that one.
Joe?
Yeah, I love it, Chris. But you said the truest statement ever, as long as the Chargers don't shoot themselves in the foot. We've seen the Chargers do this so many times in so many games. I'm with you. I don't see them doing this today. I think we're going to see a great performance out of both Mahomes and Justin Herbert. It's going to be a offensive shootout. I really believe in this matchup today. KC has so many holes in their secondary, and the Chargers really want to win this divisional matchup. So give me the Chargers plus the points today in this one.
I agree. I think that this one does have the potential to be a shootout. Someone asked in the comments, do the Chargers have an offense? Well, they're 5th ranked in the NFL in offense, averaging 416 yards a game, 323.5 through the air. But what the Chargers have failed to do, and we saw it in both of their first 2 games, is they've been settling for the field goal a lot. So that makes the money line a little bit of a reach for me in this game, because they lose a lot of close games, and usually you can see exactly where those points came from. And when you see a team that's 4th in passing, 5th in overall offense, 27th in scoring, well, that just tells you, they can get you to the mountain, but they have trouble getting over the top. Meanwhile, for the Chiefs, 9th ranked offense in the NFL, 3rd in scoring, averaging 34 points a game, while the Chargers are averaging just 18.5 points per game. So, they're at home. It's Patrick Mahomes. So, money line, I think a little bit of a reach, but I do think it's a competitive divisional game. Chris, is that it for you?
Yeah, that's all for me too. Those are the 3 games I like for some free plays.
We were expecting a total filibuster here, because you are a ball hog. We know that. Well, actually, I'd like to go down and recap.
I like having 25 carries a game.
I'd like to recap the first 2 weeks of the season, play-by-play with you. What do you got for sale, Chris? I see you got your Shotgun Sunday NFL 5-pack.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned it earlier and mentioned it again. That Shotgun Sunday 5-pack, my 5 favorite plays from the afternoon action from the NFL. Excuse me, $34.95. Or I got my Sunday night slam if you want to just get in on the Sunday night action. Or like Joe said earlier, if you haven't made enough money today and you want to make a little bit more, get onto that Sunday night play. Or you know what? If you want everything, put out maybe another, $10, and then you can have the 3-day pass. It'll cover you for today and for the first couple of days of the week. It'll get you the Monday night play and some baseball to start the week. Long-term passes, I'll tell you, we got hockey coming up soon. We got NBA coming up. It's just getting started, so check out those long-term passes over at PickDawgz Premium.
Someone in the comments says they're taking the Chargers just because of Joe's jersey. Whatever it takes. That's what I say.
I love
good.
it.
Sounds good to me. Is that the LaDainian Tomlinson?
Rocking my old school LT. Yeah.
Yeah, love it. All right. Well, Chris, thanks for joining us. Of course, you can see Chris Ruffolo Monday through Friday on the drive-thru, and then the weekends here with us. So, Chris, let's make it a winning day.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
Best of luck, Chris.
That was Chris Ruffolo. Joe threw a couple cappers here, kind of covering a good amount of games. We don't like some of the other shows that are out there, and we don't care what everybody else is doing. And this show's living proof, and all of our other shows, and pretty much my general tone, it says that. But I think that what we do in our show that's a little different is that we try and cover as many games as possible, but we don't tell our cappers, like, you got to cover this game or somebody else is covering this game or whatever. So, games are going to overlap. We're going to get varying opinions. And, of course, there's two ways to bet every game. When you see things at PickDawgz, it's not you're not seeing, a group consensus. It's always the opinion of the person that's speaking or writing or doing the video or anything like that. And it's always that person's opinion, not an opinion of the site. So it should always be taken that way. Joe's frozen. We'll just draw some spinach on her teeth next time.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
I need a telestrator. I need the telestrator.
I think that would be absolutely hilarious. See how much you can draw on my face before I unfreeze.
So we got about 550 people watching, so be sure to smash that like button. We appreciate everyone that tunes into our shows. We got a lot more handicappers left to come. We've got Ron Romanelli, James Clark, Rod Zawacky, Brian Bitler, Big Al McMorty, and Jovan Burts, all still to come on this show. So next we have, let me see, who is next? Oh,
I believe it's Ron.
Ron Romanelli. All right, let me cue him up here on the preview monitor. Ron Romanelli, definitely one of the young guns in the game. We have a good variety, It's like that's really what I wanted at PickDawgz, to make it different than any of the other things I've done. Just have this great variety, of cappers and on our sites and on our shows too. It's kind of like it's not that same, old tired Vegas thing going on. It's not like, some guy that looks like, he's maybe smoked, 6 too many packs of cigarettes or something. We have, all races, all, whatever, all people, all, sexes, everything all covered. And so you get opinions coming from all different angles. And, more than that, you get all different strategies and ways to go on things. So Ron is here with us from Gainesville, coming off of that. Ooh, Mullum really wanted to cover last night, didn't he?
You betcha.
It was one of those games where it's kind of like we could kind of run out the clock here, or we could cover the spread. And he, for the Gator backers, he ruined my parlay on the site. I had Tennessee, Nebraska on my parlay, and he got me there, and it happens.
Yeah, I had the Gators, not as a premium play, but I had a personal play on it, and I knew, even though they weren't covering until the last minute, I was like, this is Dan Mullen. We got it in the bag. Well, I know they're going to throw it in the end zone for the touchdown, but Malik Davis put it in, and we were safe. But almost a backdoor there. Tennessee got it down to 1st and goal, I believe.
It seemed to me that the turf at the Swamp was tackling to a lot of runners yesterday. I mean,
yeah.
Was it me?
I noticed that
watched the game. I noticed guys just tripping over the lines. It's like it's just an odd thing.
I did notice that as well. I'm not sure what was going on there, but
that's usually an equipment thing.
Yeah.
But anyways, we got NFL Sunday. It's week 3. NFL, of course, one of the toughest sports out there to handicap. That's one of the the most popular sport in the U.S. to watch. But really, I think that and the NBA, the two toughest to handicap. What do you got for us here in the as one of your picks?
Yeah, I do agree with you. NFL, I would say, is the toughest sport to handicap.
Well,
but
because the reason why it's so tough, this is why the NFL is so tough, and the NBA as well. A lot of dogs that don't win the game but cover the spread. And that to me, those are the hardest games. Like yesterday, the Nebraska win, the Rutgers game. These are the games, right? I mean, South Florida against BYU. I mean, these are the games, right? Where it's like the dog doesn't win the game, but they're within the points,
Yeah.
And those are just the games.
Yeah, you see that plenty of times in the NFL, and a lot of the lines are set that way. You see a lot of 3, 3.5, and then 7, 7.5 point spreads. And usually those dogs, not usually, but sometimes those dogs can catch the cover and not win the game outright, but fall in between that less than 3 or less than 7. But as far as my first free plays, I'm going to go with the under in the Washington football team and the Buffalo Bills game. I know the total bounced up a bit since it opened up, but it opened up at a really low total, I believe, of 42. The Washington football team, their defense hasn't been too strong to start the season, but we know the big name players, Chase Young, and this is a Ron Rivera coach team that I think is going to bounce back defensively. They were able to stop Saquon Barkley and the running backs of the Giants last week. Daniel Jones was really the biggest issue for the running game as far as Washington stopping it. And I do think that a week of practice and an extra week, they had 10 days of rest going into this one's going to help this defense prepare for this Buffalo Bills team. And you look at the Bills, even in their week 1 loss, they played fantastic defensively. They've held their first 2 opponents under 200 passing yards. They've held their 2 opponents to under 80 rushing yards. And I think that you're going to see the Washington football team really struggle to move the ball with Taylor Heinicke. I do think, he has done well. He led the team to a win last week, but still not a complete believer in Taylor Heinicke. And I think the Bills defense puts a ton of pressure on him today at home. I think the Bills do most of the scoring here, but I think it's less than that total. I'll take the under in the Washington Buffalo.
I know Joe Madden definitely has an opinion on this one. We've been going back and forth on this thing kind of all week. Joe, what are you thinking this morning now about this Washington? Joe really likes Washington. Disclaimer here.
I really do.
She really likes this team, but the fact that they have trouble scoring is, part of the problem here for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I love strong defenses. I definitely root for the defensive teams, and I do like Washington in this matchup to cover with these points. And I agree with you, Ron. This is going to be an under game. What we're seeing out of Josh Allen, he's looking shaky in that quarterback position for the Buffalo Bills. I'm not loving him. So when I look at this, I'm definitely looking under. What you're saying about Washington is true. Heinicke isn't the sharpest quarterback out there. We don't have Fitzpatrick. I like Fitzpatrick in there. So I'm seeing it today, a good under game and a Washington cover on this one.
I could see the under game. I'm not as convinced on the Washington cover because I just don't know if they can score points. And I think that Josh Allen is just a tough cowboy. It's like that. It's just he can avoid that pass rush, and then he has that his digs, and this guy just roasts people. Allen could buy that extra minute, and this guy is a guy that can get that all. It just takes him an extra 2 seconds to get that separation, and you just see these long touchdowns like we saw last week. I don't know. This is a pass for me because I could see it both sides. I could see it both ways. And, we saw the Bills put up 35 points last week on the road. But Washington, I think, is going to struggle to score points here. No doubt. Yeah. So that's where I see the under angle coming in. What else you got for us?
Yeah, for my second play, I'm going to look at this Giants-Falcons game. As a Giants fan, it does pain me to take the Falcons here. But to me, I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think you're going to see both offenses do well. But I'd like to have the points in my back pocket with Atlanta. You look at the Giants, the offensive line is still struggling, and that's been the case for the past 5+ years for the Giants. Saquon Barkley has not gotten the running game going. Neither has Devontae Booker. Daniel Jones is their leading rusher, and by far. And I just think without a good running game, the Giants' offense is just not going to succeed. Daniel Jones, he had probably one of his best games as a Giant last week against the Washington football team. They still lost the game. I'm not a believer in this Giants team this year. I think they're a few years away. And you look at their schedule, next week at New Orleans, then at Dallas, then they have the Rams and Panthers with the Chiefs at the road on deck. This, to me, is going to be another losing season for the Giants. And the Falcons, they put up 25 points against a tough Buccaneers defense. They actually led the yard game, total yards, 348 to 341 in that one. And they were -2 in the turnover battle in that game. They were able to pass the ball pretty well. Matt Ryan had a decent game. Obviously some turnovers they have to watch out for. But I think the Falcons have more playmakers on offense, especially in that passing game. Kyle Pitts and Calvin Ridley are able to take games in their own hands. I think, Kyle Pitts has been really quiet these first 2 games. I still think he's going to be one of, if not the best tight ends in the National Football League because he can slot in as a tight end, but also plays like a wide receiver with his speed as well. So I think the Falcons offense puts up a lot of points in this one. I'm not convinced with the Giants secondary either. It's struggled, especially last week, 320 passing yards to Taylor Heineke. I'm going to take the Falcons in the points. I think the Falcons are in the win here.
Joe, what are you thinking? I know you're a Daniel Jones fan.
I am. I really like Daniel Jones. I have a lot of faith in this quarterback for the Giants. And that being said, I have faith in Matt Ryan. The Matt Ryan we saw last season. What I'm seeing so far out of the Falcons, I'm not loving, but I'm not loving the Giants either. So this is one of these games that I'm staying away from. Ron, I could see it being a higher scoring game. But again, you guys, this isn't a game that has made my card at all today. I don't even know if I'll watch it, to be honest with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll watch it, but this is one that will be, it's definitely not on the main TV. You know, it's like, I'm watching it not for this game because I'm with you, Joe. I have way other places to make some money. Though, you know, at halftime, you know, who the hell knows, right?
Well, this will be the highlight, you know, the highlight reel show.
Well, it could be, you know, it could be.
Show me the highlight.
This could be our biggest halftime bet of the day. I mean, we don't really.
It definitely could be.
It could be. You know, you never know. But it's like this, you know. So I'll have an eye on it. But at the same time, I just see so many other places I would just rather be than on this game. And you know, it's tough. You know, it's a tough watch. You know, I mean, you have just two bad teams here and two teams that are inconsistent, but two teams that have some good players. It's not like they don't have any good players, you know? It's not like they're the Jags or something.
Exactly. And this Falcons team should be playing well. But I can't back them right now with how they've looked so far.
They've just struggled defensively for so long. You know, it just seemed that even when they were good, they struggled in those middle range passes. You know, people would hit them like that as 8-yarders over the middle. And now it's like, well, I don't know. Matt Ryan's one of those guys that he makes too much money for them to ship him somewhere. And it's like, I don't think he's doing Atlanta any good staying there. Ron, you have another game or is that it for you today?
That's it, actually. I just have the 2 free plays. As far as the premium section, I have my top 3 plays in my NFL Super Sunday trio. I'd say this week 3, is probably my favorite of the week so far this season. I think there's plenty of value on the card today. I do think that Vegas is going to find their ways to make money, so you got to watch out for those trap lines. I see a few of them that I probably stayed away from, and I would suggest to stay away from. But yeah, it should be a good day, and check me out at PickDawgz Premium. Hope everybody makes some money today and take down the books as much as you can.
Absolutely, Ron. Always a pleasure having you. And, of course, we'll see you next Saturday here for college football week 5. Who do the Gators have next week?
Kentucky should be a good game on the road. So
they usually own Kentucky, though, right? Don't they have like an amazing record against Kentucky?
I mean, I would say it's a lot closer of a rivalry than most people think. In recent years, I mean, especially that game where Felipe Franks went down and Trask came in, Kentucky was in control of that one. So this is a game the Gators can't look past.
All right, well, we'll be talking about it next week. And, of course, throughout the week, Joe and I will be doing our college football opening lines and opinion show tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern right here on our PickDawgz channel.
All right,
best of luck, Ron.
Good luck, everybody.
I think Joe is still working on those college football fans. She's more of a pro football person. She's kind of like, you know, I think we still kind of like, you know, it's like a lot of information. It's like it's
absolutely
it's
is
a ton, but she's killing it though in her picks. Absolutely clobbering it. Anyways, thanks again, Ron. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Of course, you can see Ron's videos over at Sports Chat. I'm posting them. He's done his NFL. They'll be up. Most of them are late games, so we're good on those. But anyways, Joe, that was Ron Romanelli. We're about halfway through our show. A lot of information here and a lot of games. Any of these cappers change your mind on anything or anything that drove home one for you?
Can you say that one more time? My internet broke up and you sounded
any of these cappers, change your mind on any of these games or, maybe make you like a game even more?
No, because I'm pretty strongly opinionated. And once I have my mind set on something, I don't go back on it because I've learned from my mistakes. getting off something because so many people have said, I really try before I cap my games to make sure no one is in my ear, because otherwise it's a stay off for me. So nothing has changed my mind. I'm wishing these guys luck in the games that they're betting that I'm staying off, especially the Steelers and the Bengals game, and the Giants one as well with the Falcons, because those I'm scared to bet them.
Okay, so I think for me it's like, I think if anything, it reinforced some of these games that I really don't like. It's like, it's like I don't see any reason to be on that Giants Falcons game and the Steelers Bengals. It's like, the fact that we're all over the place makes it even tougher. But
absolutely.
Next up we have James Clark. Of course, James, Mountaineers, they won the battle for me last night, but did not win the war. I had a money line bet on those guys, and I have his name mislabeled here, so I'm just trying to fix it. There he is. Okay, I have his name with a different capper, which makes it tough to get him all set. But James, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, Mitch. And Joe, how are y'all doing?
We're doing great. Joe?
Doing fantastic.
It's NFL Sunday.
Thanks for being here, James. Yeah.
The only day that's better is Saturday for me.
That's true. Loving today's card, I am.
So last night's game against Oklahoma, heartbreaker. I think the Mountaineers had that game won. I thought they thoroughly outplayed Oklahoma. They had the Sooner fans booing their quarterback, their Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback, off the field. They had him exactly where they wanted him. They exposed Spencer Rattler. Not that he hadn't been exposed, for the last 2 years. But, to be right there and then to basically choke, right? I mean, they fumbled the football, right, and went backwards about 30 yards.
A bad snap, us switching out quarterbacks every once in a while. It come back to haunt us. Usually it helps us. You put Green in there. He's a lot mobile quarterback, a lot faster. Dodge, he throws the ball decent. He's a better accuracy quarterback. But we switched one without the other, and then the snapper, and they didn't just get it together, and just a bad snap cost us the game.
It was a hell of a game, and I really thought the Mountaineers had them dead to rights there in Norman, and really would have. Then we would have had to hear like in late November about how the Sooners passed the eye test and they still get into the playoff even though they lost that game at home, right, at night. Anyways, we move on to NFL football here, and you've been rocking it in the NFL so far this season. What do you got for us today?
I'm actually going to start out with an underdog. And I really don't understand why they're underdog. I know they had played bad last weekend, but I'm going with the Saints here on the money line. I know you got two good defenses going up against each other, but that's all New England has is a good defense. They're starting their quarterback, a rookie. These little dink and dunk passes he does to try to get him all the way down the field. But, I look for James Winston to bounce back here this week. And I look for, money line, you're getting plus money. We only got to win by a field goal. And I can't believe the Saints are plus money here. And I really like his pick.
Joe?
I can't go against Belichick at home, and how well he gets his defense to – am I breaking up, you guys? All I can see is me broken up.
No, you're okay. You're good.
I think I'm broken up.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay, I was just saying, I have to go with Belichick in the situation and how he can scheme against these younger quarterbacks. I think he's going to have his defense having Jameis Winston's number today. So give me the Patriots all day long to win this one.
I'm with Joe. I'm on the Patriots as well. I think that what we know from Belichick is that the way that his defenses work is, and we hear this a million times, so this is how you have to look at his games, is he looks at the other team and he says, who's the one player that can beat me? What's the one thing that can beat me? I'm going to take this away and see if they can beat me some other way. So it's going to be Alvin Kamara, who's obviously going to be taken out of the picture here for the Saints. Can Jameis Winston beat his secondary and beat the rest of his defensive scheme? I don't think so. I don't see it happening that way. I'm obviously, the bettors are against me here because the line's moving in your direction here, James. So they're with you on this one. It's moved down to 2.5 the last I saw. Let me see where we're at now in this thing. So I could see that angle, but I've seen Bill Belichick just do it so many times, and I just don't see. We're back to 3, but with light juice at most places. I see some 2.5 still out there, but I think that this is going to be a lower scoring game, and I can see it. The Saints defense is way underrated. I mean, way underrated. They're a good unit, but I don't see Jameis Winston beating Bill Belichick. I just don't see it happening. So
definitely love the under in this game.
Yeah, I definitely love the under. I'm with you on the under. What do you have next?
Actually, I'm going to the one of the games, the Cincinnati and the Pittsburgh game here. I know Ben, he's played hurt most of his season, most of his career, really. But I think with Dante Johnson being out, I think gives Cincinnati an edge here. And I like Cincinnati here on the money line too, plus money to win this game. Just, like I said, Dante Johnson is you look, he gets 10, 12, 14 targets a game. I know they have Juju, Claypool, but when Big Ben's in trouble, Johnson's who he looks to get him out of trouble, a lot of trouble. I know they're probably going to be handing the ball off to the new rookie stud, but I really like Cincinnati here to pull out a victory against Pittsburgh today.
Joe?
Yeah, again, I just can't get on board with this game. I'm terrified to bet it either way. I can see pros and cons for betting both of these teams. The one thing that scares me about the Bengals is their offensive line and how much we're seeing Joe Burrows get taken down. So stay away from me.
Yeah, Johnson last year had a lot of trouble with drops, but Ben has stuck with him, and it's like, that's the difference between Ben Roethlisberger and a lot of the other quarterbacks. You see a lot of other quarterbacks, they do the screaming and yelling. Even Peyton Manning and was a big screamer and yeller. And Tom Brady is the same way at times. He has more of the dead stare at this point in his career. But with Ben Roethlisberger, he really has hung with this guy. And he's like, he's talked him up, and he's talked him off the edge. And I think it's paying dividends for him. I think you're right in that respect. This is a tough game, for me. I just see other places I'd rather be, and I'm guessing with it being a free pick, you probably have other places you like a little stronger than this one as well.
Yeah, I do, but I do really like Cincinnati to come out and play strong, and it's a good plus money if we get the W here.
Joe Burrow gets hit an awful lot, though. He does.
He does.
I wish they would have improved his offensive line, you guys. I feel so sorry for this young quarterback.
I know he's a stud quarterback, and I swear if they get him some offensive line in front of him, Cincinnati may go somewhere in a few years or so.
Absolutely.
Is that what you have for us, or?
No, I actually got 2 more games.
All right, let's get rolling then.
All right, I got the Giants. I like the Giants today. Saquon Barkley here, he ain't had a good start to the season here, but, against this Atlanta defense, I look for him to break out today. I look for Barkley to have a big game and the Giants to cover this 2.5-point spread here.
Joe?
Yeah, I could get behind it. Again, I can't be talked onto betting this one, though, but I can see your point, and I could see the Giants coming out and winning it.
Joe, I think when she retires from being a Chargers fan, she'll be a Daniel Jones fan. She'll be able to use it, like, after we retire, she'll get to wear the Daniel Jones vintage jersey, and that way it will be
or Sam Darnold.
Yeah, those are her people. It could be those. Then it will be excusable in her wardrobe or Sunday wardrobe here.
Absolutely. I love so many players in the NFL, though. I support all of the teams in one way or another.
I have to say, Joe was so spot on with her Sam Darnold, on Thursday. It was like, I don't know. I couldn't get there, but she was just spot on with it. But with this
we're
Falcons,
definitely going to see a new quarterback out of him.
This Falcons Giants thing, I just don't. I don't like Joe Judge as the coach of the Giants. I think that is my problem. I like Saquon Barkley. He's a way better player than I thought he was going to be at the NFL level. This guy's, he's a home run hitter, and I like home run hitter players, in the NFL, because it's like if you can break away in the NFL on a run, then you're a good player, because everybody can absolutely fly. So it's like, a guy that can do it the way that he does, and the cuts and the moves and everything. Penn State running backs traditionally are only able to do that at the college level, and he's really one of the few that have been able to do it at the pro level since, like, Franco Harris, Lydell Mitchell days, which is a long time ago. But what's your fourth play for the show?
I like the Raiders today to cover the spread here against the Dolphins here. I know Tua being out, Dolphins got a decent defense. I like the Raiders here to keep it rolling again today, and go 3-0 for. It's been a while since the Raiders have been 3-0. They got the fans on their side. I look for them to come and play today and beat the Dolphins by more 3.5 in the spread here.
Joe, a lot of pressure on this 3.5. This thing went, it opened 4.5. Then the news that Tua wasn't playing, it went to 3.5. And there's pressure on that. I could see threes by game time in this thing, the way things are moving. What are you thinking?
Absolutely. James, this is one of those matchups where I completely want to be with you on this Raiders to cover this spread, especially because everyone keeps telling me this is a trap. That's all I keep hearing. I keep hearing, take the Miami Dolphins. This is a trap game. And I'm not buying it. I really do think the Raiders go 3-0. What we're seeing out of them, their pass rush on those quarterbacks, it's going to be too much for this Miami team. If Miami comes out and wins this straight up, I'm going to eat my words, but I don't see it happening today. I think Derek Carr and the Raiders have a huge game, especially with their is he a defensive end, Crosby? Yes. Crosby. 98. Yeah, he's going to have a phenomenal day. So I'm looking for a good one.
I'm on the Dolphins here all day and twice on Sunday. I just think that, somebody knows something, and I usually like to go with somebody in these situations. Totally odd line movement in this one, and there's every reason in the world. The Raiders 3-0, the Dolphins coming off a blowout loss at home, their quarterback out for at least 3 weeks. This would have been a giant game for him, playing on the 9th island. Probably a lot of people from Hawaii disappointed that probably traveling there for that game. But, the thing is that, when you see line movement like this, well, usually, like I said, somebody knows something. And the fact that it's a Vegas game makes it even more suspicious. I just think that, with 75% of the bets, 77% of the money and the line dropping 1.5, that, to me, I don't pay all that much attention to this stuff, but you have to pay attention to this one. And I think what we have here is likely a close game that's settled by a field goal or less. And I could see a missed extra point or something happening, and, the Dolphins falling within the number here at the very least. The other thing you have to remember is that the Raiders have relied almost solely on the pass. The Dolphins have 2 great cover corners. They have 2 guys that can cover man. And, a little bit of pressure on Carr. We know what he does, right? He lobs it out there, and these guys are ball hawks. So I could see this one being a little tighter than people think, especially with Josh Jacobs out.
Yeah, and then we have to look at the Raiders might be in a look-ahead situation. I know a lot of people don't believe that, but I do. I'm huge in these situations. They have the Chargers on deck on Monday Night Football. So that is a huge reason that they might not come out and get a dominating win in this one.
Yeah, I know with Jacobs being out, a lot of people probably lean towards the Dolphins, but Kenyon Drake, he showed over the past, when he gets his chance to shine, and he's gonna get his chance today. I look for him to run hard and And I don't, and Waller, Waller's are tough for anybody in the NFL to cover. And, I just don't see them covering Waller and Drake both. And I just like the Raiders to get us the win today.
Well, I have my Kenyon Drake picture right here with Rob Gronkowski sprawled out on the ground trying to tackle him against the Patriots. And that unbelievable finish.
I love it.
But I have the day after the game, they sent it out to all Dolphin season ticket holders. This giant thing came. It was like, I opened it up. It's like Kenyon Drake heading into the end zone with Gronk out like this on the ground. It's beautiful. So what do you have for sale today, James? I see you have a 7-pack money stack.
Yeah, I got a 7-pack money stack going on. I love today's card, guys. 7 of my best NFL plays. I gave you 4 here. And there's 7 more that I really like today. I love today's card. I think it's one of the best cards. We only got 3 weeks in the NFL, but I think for the last 3 weeks, this is the best card. So go jump on it, guys. And after we go 7-0 today, upgrade 3, 7, or 30 today, guys. Or, look at the football packages, or or team me up with any of these guys today. You get 2 for the price of 1. You can't beat that, and we'll definitely put some money in your pockets, fellas.
Well, thanks a lot, James. We appreciate you coming by, and we will see you next week here on our live show. Of course, you can get James's picks at PickDawgz. He's also a regular on the drive-thru, 6 p.m. Eastern time, right here on our PickDawgz YouTube channel. We always like having James here, and got to say, man, I had West Virginia on the money line in that game as well as with the points, so it left a mark on me as well. So I thought it was one of those ones I was like, I was counting it.
Me too.
I even said before the game, Rattler's got to be the most overrated player in the last 5 years in college football. Anyways, we move on. Joe, that was James Clark. We still got 4 more people to come on, including Big Al McMorty, who's up next. Al has been killing it in the NFL, not just this year, but pretty much for the last 40-something years, which is pretty amazing to last in this industry. I see Twitter accounts that last 45 minutes capping games. And, then you see guys like
True.
Al. And, I get emails all the time from people, I want to be a capper on your site. I want to be this. And it's like, I wouldn't insult people like Al by having those other people on my site. It's like, if you can't show your face and who you are, well, then it's tough for me to explain to my audience, why you're on your site. And it's like, next up, I'm going to show you a cartoon character, ZB Betts on. It's like, it's just show their Twitter logo, that just happened to be there. But we've got Al with us today. And Al, welcome. Oh, wait a minute. I got Brian's up there instead of me, so we'll have to fix that. So that's weird.
Well, I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone watching right now. I appreciate it, you guys. We have just under 700 people watching at the moment. So thank you for joining us on your Sunday morning.
We appreciate each and every one of you. And I have to say that having the people watching always makes me more excited. Like our halftime shows, Joe and I will be here for the early halftimes, the afternoon halftimes, and of course Sunday Night Football for the big one. But, always join us for our halftimes. And, of course, Al, he's talked to millions of people over the years, handicapping games. And, week 3 of the NFL, what are we looking for, Al?
Well, I'll get into that in a little bit here. I was just want to tell you guys a story from last week. I was watching this gambling show on ESPN, which I had never seen before. Maybe you guys have watched it, called The Daily Wager. Have either of you guys ever watched that show before?
I've lasted about 8 seconds watching it. One of the guys who's on the show, I actually know him, and he was with another site years ago, and I met him at a USA Today function. And he said to me at the time, he said, "What are you doing?" I told him, and it was, I was a peon back then. Basically treated me as such. So it's like, I see him on that show, and it's just like, well, you can go work in some studio all you want. We're living the life over here, right? So what the hell?
Well, so I'm watching the show last week for the NFL, and in their discussion of the Raiders-Steelers game and the 49ers-Eagles game, all their handicappers kept bringing up this concept of this West Coast team traveling out to the East Coast. And, this has been a pet peeve of mine going back to 2008. And what happened back then, I don't know if any of you guys, remember, but back in 2008, the West Coast teams were not winning on the East Coast. And they started out that year 0-14 straight up, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, the 49ers, the Raiders, etc. And this was actually brought up by Terry Bradshaw and the gang on the NFL Today show. And they began talking about how the West Coast teams can't win on the East Coast. And, you combine that 0-14 stat with this, sleep cycle science or whatever, and this concept took hold. But the problem was that nobody actually cared to look at the data, except, of course, me. So, I went back to 1980 and I researched how do West Coast teams do, playing in the, East Coast time zone, blah, blah, blah. And as I found out, the West Coast teams actually did pretty well. But for the last 13 years, this has just seeped into the consciousness of the gambling public. And you just hear this over and over and over again. And there's just no basis in fact. So it drives me absolutely crazy. And, the relevant statistic, when you look at the data, the West Coast teams on the East Coast, they're 344 and 294 ATS. So you can look at the Raiders, Steelers game or the 49ers, Eagles game, and you can like the East Coast team, but it can't be because the West Coast team is traveling east. So I just, it's been a pet peeve of mine and also my buddy Scott Spreitzer for the last 13 years. And we'll tell these talking heads who've got these large platforms about the stat. And what's also interesting is that they look at you and they say like, well, we don't care. It sounds good. And so they keep using it. And so, anyway, it just drives me absolutely crazy. And then a lot of people who listen to these shows, they don't know the statistics. They just hear it and they think it's real. So I'm going to try to do my best maybe over the next few years to just get this out there. So maybe we can get people to understand the West Coast teams actually do pretty well on the East Coast. Okay, off my soapbox.
But so what happens in the scenario yesterday where you have like Boise State versus Utah State with the 12 p.m. Eastern time start? It's like what happens in a game like that where you have two West Coast teams with an early start time? It doesn't, doesn't.
Well, I mean, the concept is based on sleep cycle.
Yeah,
right?
look,
so,
you know where we really saw that in college football this year was when Oregon played at Ohio State for a noon game. They looked half asleep out there, right? They looked so tired running up and down the field against the Buckeyes. They were just exhausted.
I had Oregon in that. I had Oregon in that game. I wish I could go back to that weekend.
Yeah, me too. I'd love to bet it again. I had Oregon as well, money line. It's like
okay. So there's one game this week that features a West Coast team traveling east. That's Arizona at Jacksonville. Now I'm still going to take Jacksonville, okay, but it's not because Arizona's on the East Coast. I'm going to look at the Jacksonville side because Jacksonville's actually, this is one of the two games this week where it's an 0-2 team versus a 2-0 team. The Denver game's the other game. So Arizona's at Jacksonville. And 0-2 ATS teams have actually done fairly well over the years in the NFL. They're 116 and 89 ATS. So that bodes well, I think, for the Jaguars here. And also undefeated road favorites in the NFL, price from -6.5 to -13.5 points. They're a very soft 40 and 75 ATS going back to 1980. Then finally, you look at the Arizona side. In their last two games, or their first two games of the season, they've scored a lot of points. They've scored 38 and 34. But when you look at how road favorites do in non-division games off back-to-back games where they scored more than 30, they're 83 and 131 ATS. So I'm going to take Jacksonville plus the points.
Joe? Any faith in Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence?
A little bit. And that's why I'm looking at the over in this game. I think we're going to see a higher scoring game than most predict. So jump on that over, you guys. I think anytime you put Kyler Murray on the field, you're going to have an over game. Not always, of course. The stats will not line up with that. But in my head, right away, I look at the over.
It's week 3 of the Trevor Lawrence era in Jacksonville. And, I think unlike some of the other quarterbacks that we talked about.
What are you thinking, Mitch?
I think that Lawrence, I think he doesn't hold on to the ball too long like some of the other guys. So it gives Jacksonville a fighting chance. I just don't know if he has the supporting cast just to hold up against that pass rush. of the Cardinals that we saw absolutely bludgeon the Titans in week 1. Chandler Jones with 5 sacks in one game. You just don't see that every day. J.J. Watt, he's been around the block a few times as well. I think that I just don't know if Jacksonville can withhold, and I think I could see Arizona playing on a short field. I think that might be the problem here. So I don't know. I can't get behind. I'm not an Urban Meyer guy, so I usually can find an angle to go against them. I don't like the guys who rule with the iron fist. It's like the fear factor. I think it works at Utah or Florida or Ohio State, where you got the keys to the asylum, but I'm not so sure it works at the NFL level.
Well, unless you're Greg Popovich in the NBA anyway, but
well, he's accomplished a lot more, and I think that, for me, it's just I haven't seen Urban Meyer's game plan in week 1 or week 2 look like he's been he looks like he's even been prepared to play. His team just, you get run out by Houston game 1, and then, last week at home, not pretty either. So I don't know. I think they're going to need to force some turnovers to stay in this one.
Well, we shall see. I think the value is there with them as the home dog.
Well, there's a reason they play the games, right? That's for sure. It's not. I think your NFL record over the years is a lot better than mine. That's for sure.
Well, that's it's all opinions are valid. That's one thing I know. So let's look at another game. The Minnesota Vikings are playing their home opener, and historically, teams that open the season with their home opener later, as the Vikings are today, they actually don't do very well. When you look at teams in their home opener at game 3 forward, they're 54-82 ATS, and I've already touched upon how teams do that are 0-2 ATS. So if you filter out those 0-2 ATS teams from that 54-82 stat, then you get 37-65 ATS, which fits the Vikings here. And the worst subset of this 37-65 angle is when you look at home teams that are actually coming in off a straight up loss in their previous game. Now that's 8-34 ATS going back to 1985. So I don't like the Minnesota side of this at all. And then you take a look at the Seattle side. Seattle's coming off that upset loss at home last week as a 6.5-point favorite. And road teams cover 60.9% going all the way back to 1980 if they're off an upset loss as a 6.5-point or greater favorite, provided they're not off back-to-back losses. So I like Seattle here. Dalvin Cook is banged up. He's going to try to play. I'm not sure how effective he's going to be, but I'm going to take Seattle minus the points.
Joe?
Yeah, I'm just getting behind Minnesota on this one. I think the Vikings are going to come out, especially being this home opener tonight. But I think this will come down to last possession. And so for Minnesota to get this win, they have to not make mistakes. Kirk Cousins cannot turn that ball over to Seattle and give Seattle the time of possession. And if they do, Seattle comes out and wins this one. It's all going to be up to Kirk Cousins and the offensive side to not make these mistakes and their defense to stop that run game.
There are several, there's several teams there that, that fall into this category that opened with 2 road games.
Denver, Dallas,
San Francisco.
Those are the 4. Yeah, there's 4 teams this week.
So Dallas 1-1, Vikings 0-2, and the other 2-0 on the road to start the season, which is super impressive and gives them a big edge. Denver really, I don't know who they paid to get this schedule that they got. You open at Giants, Jacksonville, and the Jets in your first 3 games.
What about the which team is it that opened up with 5? Is it the Colts that opened up with 5 straight teams that had a winning record last year, which is crazy?
Yeah,
I think it's the Colts.
I believe so. Yeah,
they have the Titans today. They got no favors from the schedule makers, but a lot of times schedule's back end loaded, and you never know.
The Colts have a brutal schedule. I think most of the way through, but the first 5 games were just deadly. No soft spots at all.
Dolphins have had those kind of schedules in recent years as well. I think this is a tough game. I think I'm with you. I see all those angles. I could be talked either way, and this is one of those games that Joe and I have struggled back and forth on all week because we've seen the good and the bad from both these teams. That game against Cincinnati that the Vikings lost, they were in that thing all the way, and they had a chance at the end. They got it to overtime and lost. And then last week against Arizona, they showed up, but they just didn't have enough. Now they get back home where last year they didn't play with any fans in the stands, so it's a little bit different year than other years because this is now teams that haven't played in front of fans for several years. And Minnesota, a tough building. They blow that horn, and you can't even hear yourself think. But the home team has covered 6 of the last 8. The favorite 6 of the last 8, so that kind of cancels each other out. The Seahawks 5 of the last 7. I don't know. I'm gonna have to. I'll just go with your pick. I'm good with you here on this one. Joe and I have gone over this game probably 4 times this week, and I don't think we've landed on the same side of our pick on it once. So
no, we most definitely haven't.
I'm gonna have to. I could see your angle there. The Seahawks, though, not a great road cover team. Traditionally under Clappy, we call Pete Carroll Clappy because
the key thing for me is they're coming off a big upset loss. That's the key.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. That's gonna be. They're gonna take it out on the Vikings most definitely today off that loss.
Well, we will see. So those are my 2 plays for you guys.
All right, what do you have for sale? I see you have a 3-game NFL package, 10-4 in your last 14 NFL picks. I don't think there's anyone out there that can question your historic NFL record. It's like,
I've won. I've knock on wood. The worm can always turn. I've won the last 9 years in the NFL, which also means I lost 10 years ago. So you never know what's going to happen this year. But fingers crossed. Today we've got 6 NFL plays. I've got 1 play in baseball to round everything out. I've got among the 6 my NFC conference game of the month. I cashed my NFL game of the month last week on the Ravens against the Kansas City Chiefs. So this play is just as strong as that play, and we look for good things today. And if you want to join for a week or for a month, best deal of all is to join me up with one of the other PickDawgz champion handicappers under the 2-for-1 handicapper special.
Well, thanks for joining us, Al. We certainly appreciate you taking the time to be with us this morning, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
I'll be back. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. That was Big Al McMorty, pretty much a legend in this industry, really one of the stand-up guys. You see people come and go over the years in this industry, but you also see people that are kind of the pillars that have been around for a while. A lot of people think I'm a dinosaur in this industry. Al's been around a lot longer than me, so definitely love having him on the site and of course on the show as well. You should check out his picks over at PickDawgz. It was an interesting angle there on that Seahawks-Vikings game, which I have really struggled with. It's definitely one of those ones where, in the Circa, it was a throwout game, right? For us in the Westgate, throwout.
Oh, for sure.
It's a tough spot for us. But next we have Jovan is up next. Coming from Boston, where the Pats host the Saints, and the 1-1 Patriots, of course, who missed the playoffs last season. It was an odd year for them. Just bringing up his stuff. There we go. All right. Jovan, welcome to the show. Another big Saturday for you yesterday. You're on fire.
Yeah, good morning, fellas and lady. Yeah, so, just another day at the office. It was looking kind of rough early, because I had BC and Texas Tech, they just wet the bed. But then BC came back, and then the 3:30 games swept those out. UTSA big fourth quarter to come back on that one, and nighttime game I gave one back, but it is what it is. But trying to keep it going today.
Well, one thing we know is that no one wins them all except for these guys on Twitter that we can't figure out who the hell they are because they won't let us know, and they just change their account whenever they lose. But to go through runs like this in this time of year is pretty amazing stuff, because these are the ones that are heavily bet. Every game out there is heavily bet, so the lines are generally very, very tight, and we're seeing a lot of tight action. Games that are, just we saw a few games yesterday that, where the point spread was decided very late in the game, whether or not they were going to cover. They certainly weren't all no doubters. But what do you have for us today?
Yeah, so I have two plays that I particularly like that landed outside the premium area. First one, 1:00 slate. We're going to KC. I'm on the underdog Chargers. Now last year they cashed for me both games. One was an outright win, but Patrick Mahomes wasn't playing in that one. But last couple of years they played the Chiefs. They played the Chiefs real tough. In their last 5, they're 3-1-1 against the spread against the Chiefs. In their last 6 games overall, they're 5-1 against the spread. And, the Chiefs the Chargers, I'm saying, is one of those teams where when they're catching points like this against a Chiefs team that is 1-5 in their last 6 as a home fave and 2-10 in the last 12 as a favorite, you got to take the points. And, and when I look at the NFL, one of the tenets that I hold is that once you get to 7 and over, 7 or more points, you really got to look at these underdogs. So with that said, I'm on the Chargers in this one.
Joe, what do you think of the Chargers?
Oh, those Chargers, I don't know about them. Give me my Bolts all day long in this one. They traditionally play KC really tight. Look for a really competitive game today, you guys. I see a high-scoring battle to the end, and Chargers covering, if not winning this one.
I will take the Chargers as well in this one.
The old San Diego flag.
The old school. What else do you have for us?
Yeah, so my second one, 4:00 slate, prime time. Well, 4:25 prime time slot is I'm going to LA for the Rams and Tampa Bay. I'm on the over in this one. Now, with both of these games, both of the games that these teams have played, it's going over. It's been, the defenses have shown little resistance. That first game that Tampa Bay played against Dallas, I was actually on Tampa Bay in that one for some strange reason. And, they just showed no resistance toward the Dallas team that I, thought was kind of weak coming into the season. Tampa Bay, they've gone over in their last 4 games as a favorite. In LA, they 8-1 to the over in their last 9 as a dog and 4-0 to the over in their last 4. And, I think that one of these teams are going to get ahead either late in the first half, going into halftime.
Today we're talking all things Pokemon card business related
points. And in that scenario, once you're chasing points in the second half of these NFL games, these games go over. So, if it's a 7-point game, it's a 13-point game, a 10-point game, the team that's chasing points, they're going to get in the end zone, or they're going to get, at least hit a field goal or something. And I think with this game, it one of the teams might be ahead, but then the lead will shrink, and then the other team will, have to score a touchdown. These fourth quarters in these games, it's been wild. Last like 2 or 3 years, it doesn't matter what game it is. If you have a scenario when one team is up, then it just happens like that. The over's been cashing. So even in this big 55 and a half total, I think it'll go over.
Joe?
I like it. I think this is going to be a great game. I'm leaning on the Rams to come out and get the win in this one with Matt Stafford. One thing I can't believe, tell me if I'm wrong. I read this morning that this is Tom Brady's first time playing in LA. Is that correct? In the stadium? Did he not play there last year?
In that stadium, it's a new stadium. So
last year was the first time for the stadium, but in Los Angeles, there hasn't really been teams through the bulk of his career. So
yeah,
I guess it kind of makes sense. I didn't know that stat, but it definitely right. It's certainly a possibility because throughout his career,
yeah, I read it this morning and I was shocked he didn't play there last year.
Yeah, it's odd, right, that he wouldn't have played there. But
So there's a first for Brady. Who would think after 22 years? I know with new stadium, but having a first.
Yeah, because it makes sense because the Rams were St. Louis and the Raiders weren't in LA. They were Oakland. So yeah,
and the Chargers as well.
The Chargers were San Diego. So yeah.
Yeah. Same thing, yeah. So LA hasn't had a team throughout his career because you're right. When his first Super Bowl was against St. Louis, right? So it was the St. Louis Rams back then.
Yeah, it's crazy to think. It's going to be a great
I guess just because he was on the Patriots and then he was on, now he's on the Bucs. Wow. But so he's winless in Los Angeles in his career is what we could say. And of course,
throw that stat everywhere.
Yeah, we will tweet that one out and act smart.
Yeah.
But I think that this is going to be a hell of a game. We could see it going. I could see it going either way, but an over makes perfect sense to me too. I could see one of those. I could see a shootout, coming down to the last possession, with either team winning, and I could also see a scenario where it's a lower scoring game, like the Super Bowl when Tom Brady, and the Patriots took on the Rams, and Gronk caught that ball down by the goal line. That was. The difference maker in that one in a hard-fought defensive game. But, of course, that was a Jared Goff Rams team, not a Matthew Stafford Rams team. So I think you're right. I think we're going to see some aggressive play calling on both sides. I don't think either of these coaches believe that they're not going to play the conservative not to lose approach, which I hate. I hate that. Oh, let's play not to lose. I always play to win in everything I do, and so I love that strategy. But so I see you have a Show Me the Money Sunday 5-pack over at PickDawgz today. What do you got in there? 5 NFL games?
Yeah, all NFL. Whenever there's football involved, I tend to, push the MLB aside. So yeah, I got 5 on going. I actually have a 6 game for that, but that's for longer term clients. So yeah.
Yeah, if you buy one of Jovan's longer term packages, which have been straight money. I see a lot of people grabbing his 3-day, that they've got for the weekend, and his weekly. I mean, that's the best deal. But even yesterday, and what was it considered to be a tough college football day, if you bet $100 on each of his picks, you're up over $300. So you more than paid for your monthly package with him just yesterday. If you bet $100 a game, of course, if you've been betting on his games every day of the month, you've only made 18 times your money. So it's a pretty solid return on investment with Jovan this month. But we appreciate you being here. And, of course, we appreciate you being part of PickDawgz. We'll see you here next week on our show. And, of course, during the week, we'll see you on the drive-thru with Tony and Chris. We'll get Tony to pronounce your name correctly, too. We'll give him a hard time about it. Say, Tony, you've been saying my name wrong the whole time. Get it together.
Yeah, so I appreciate y'all, inviting me on the show,
Well, we love having you. So we'll see you next week right here, and let's make it a winning day.
Absolutely.
Best of luck.
That was Jovan Burts. He has been the absolute hottest handicapper anywhere on the internet. He's only on PickDawgz, so he's you're not going to see him around on any of the other sites. But real people, real faces, real picks, and real winners at PickDawgz, and that's pretty much what we're all about. And that's what we stand for. I know that we don't win them all, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
But
yeah, for sure.
But we win a lot, so that's what really matters.
Yeah, most definitely do. Mitch, I want to remind everyone to enter our office pool. You've got till kickoff, so hour and a half here left to get your picks in for that office pool for free cash. Do we have a link we could drop in the chat section, Mitch?
Yeah, I'll grab it and put it in there. Let me see. I can do it during the. I'll do it now. Really, even though I've been online for all of these years, really not that good at this stuff. But
well, I can go over and find
it. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
You got it.
I got it. I hope I got it. Let me see.
Yeah, guys, make sure you enter. It's free to enter and cash prize for the winner. You definitely want to get all your picks in there. And it's just straight up, no against the spread. Straight up winners for Sunday and Monday night.
Yeah,
Sunday day and Monday night.
Sunday day, Monday night. Here it is.
You guys, we have a couple more cappers left. We have Brian and Rod still to come on the show.
Yep, our regulars, and of course, guys that are regulars on our. There it is. There's the link. Guys who are regulars on our morning show, and guys who are on our premium YouTube as well. But let's bring Rod in. Rod, good morning. Thanks for your patience in waiting to come on the show. These shows are getting longer and longer, but I think that's a good thing. And, obviously the crowd has waited for you. We got 700 people watching. So that's pretty strong. And, thousands have come and gone during the course of the broadcast. And, it's just awesome to watch this thing grow. Rod was with me when we first, he's with me through COVID when we had like 6 people watching. So.
Right. now there's almost 700 watching right now. So.
What have you got for us today here at for today's NFL card?
I got 3 plays for us today.
Why don't
see if we can duplicate what we did yesterday with our free plays. Damn Kansas! See, you were right. Stay away from Kansas. It's the only one I got wrong on the free plays. The Kansas game.
So Rod,
damn Kansas.
You're still up 828 units on the week. If you bet $100 a game, you're up over 8 times your money betting with Rod this week. He has been on a bit of a heater. Didn't
had a little blip, little bump in the road yesterday. Went 3 and 4. And hey, it happens. You have those days.
Yeah.
So at least it didn't go 1 and 6. So but definitely had a losing day yesterday. But if you take my free plays, it was a 6 and 5 day overall for me. So I won a little.
But the thing is that, we're going to have losing days. It's the nature of the beast. The only people that don't are liars and people that can change their accounts. But, it's way better to have a 3 and 4 day than a 2 and 5 day or a 1 and 6 day or, I don't even want to say it. Anyways.
What
do we got today What do you got today for a free pick?
Let's go. We're going to go with the Bengals and the Steelers game. I like that to go under the total. I think scoring comes at a premium in that one. You look Burrow, his last game off with 3 interceptions. I don't think they're going to plan for him to be chucking the ball deep and airing it out in this one. I think they're going to get simplified, go down, run the ball a lot more. So it takes that pressure off him getting smoked with that line. I think they're going to try to run the ball. And then the Steelers, we know the Steelers have some injuries as well. So I think they slow this game down as well. I love the under. The under is 8 and 2, their last 10 meetings between these two. So give me the under. I think we got a lower scoring game in this one.
These are divisional games, and these teams know each other extremely well. Joe?
Yeah, looking at the line movement on this, Rod, I'm with you. This is one of the totals I hadn't looked at. It opened at 47 down to 43 and a half on some books. So I'm loving this under with you. Definitely we'll see more of a run game out of these two teams. Heavy defensively.
Heavy defense, yeah.
It's weird when you see it drop, a total drop like that, and weather really not involved in it at all. So definitely someone knows something. Maybe it's Rod.
Yep.
I think so.
Love the under there.
What do we have next?
My next play, I think you guys are going to be opposite of this one from watching everybody so far. So I'm going to take the over in the Washington and Buffalo game. You look at this, and everybody's humping up on this under, going, "Oh, it's going to be low scoring. Washington can't score at all." Well, you only need Washington to score about 7 to 10 points. The Bills scored 35 last week. Why couldn't they do it again? This Washington defense, we've seen it. It's not as good as what people are making it out to be at the start of the season. Look at the rankings and the numbers they've been giving up. They've not been good. You look at the Washington football team, 8 and 1 their last 9 games after allowing more than 150 yards rushing in the previous game. Bills, last 4 games after allowing less than 250 yards, 4-0 to the under, or 4-0 to the over. Bills, 12-4-1 to the over their last 17 off of a straight up win. I think this Washington team can score some points. Buffalo can do the bulk of the work. We're going to get this over the total. I'm not staying with an under on that one. Give me the over.
Joe, I know I'm on the under, but how about you?
Yeah, you know what? I think Chase Young is going to give Josh Allen a really hard day. I think we're going to see a big step up for Washington's defense. So I will be still riding that under. This line is interesting, though. It opened at 41.5, now up to 45.5 on some books. So we're seeing that movement for people taking this game over.
I think, when you have a good defense, like a really, really good defense and a defensive coach and really good defensive players, and you get kind of undressed on Thursday night by the New York Giants and Daniel Jones at home, I think you kind of take it personally. And I'm going to guess that Washington's going to take it personally. And I know the Bills can pop out long runs. We saw it last week against a pretty decent Dolphins defense, but I don't know. I think this one's going to stay under. I think, I think Washington's offense is too inept to put a lot of points on the board, and I think that their defense is too proud to get roasted again. And we saw the it's not like that 35 that we saw Buffalo put up last week. It's not like they did it 2 weeks in a row. They put up 10 against the Steelers and could not get out of the box, after that. So I'm going to stay with my under here. Probably not rushing to the window. I got a bunch of other games I like better. But Washington football team, the Eskimos. Who the hell knows what they're doing over there.
Go Bills.
What else do we have?
So another one for me. We're going to go the Patriots and the Saints. And we're going to take the under in that one as well. I think we got a low scoring. Both defenses solid on the Saints and the Patriots. You look, Saints 5-0 to the under their last 5 games. They're also 4-0 to the under after allowing 350 yards in the previous game. And we know they got their butt whooped by the Panthers last game. But the Saints, just like you said, they're a proud bunch. And their defense is solid. I think they step up and have a really good game here. Patriots defense, we know is good as well. Patriots 6-0 to the under following a straight-up win. The Patriots are also 9-1 to the under in their last 10 games. Love the under in this game. Low scoring, defensive battle. Give me the under.
Joe, Jameis Winston, 32nd in the league in passing. There's 32 teams, right? Well, it's the Saints are 32nd.
Yeah.
115.5 yards per game. We talked earlier about this game, on the side. Bill Belichick, obviously going to go after Kamara in this one. Take him away and see if Jameis Winston in that 115 yards is good enough to put some points on the board. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm definitely liking Rod's angle of the under on this one. When we look at this, again, this line has dropped significantly down to 43 on a couple of books. So that under should be a solid play. It will just all depend on if Belichick is schemed perfectly and Jameis Winston can't find those other targets today.
Yeah, I like the under in this one as well. I think that what we've seen from Mac Jones is check down city. So it's like, it is a methodical drive down the field when they even get points. And it's like a lot of these drives sputter out and become field goal drives. And then, on the other side, I think, we saw a Saints team, struggle against the Panthers, who might be a little bit better defensively than what we thought, but 115 yards per game, that's not going to get it done. And, the Saints offense, even though it's 115.5 yards per game passing, only 109.5 yards rushing. I mean, we're talking 225 yards per game for the Saints team. Not the way you want to open the post-Drew Brees era.
No.
What else you got for
Not
us?
at all.
Those are the 3 I've got for you guys today.
Well, was that 3 or 2? Bengals?
3.
Oh, Bengals, Bills,
Bengals
this
and
one.
Steelers
Okay.
under, Saints and Patriots under, and Bills and Washington over. A little 2-team parlay. Take the Bengals and Steelers under. Take the Saints and Patriots under.
So you have what do you have for sale today, PickDawgz? I see you have the 50-star NFL big ticket. 50 stars. That's like a U.S. flag worth of.
You bet. It's like this is my 50 stars. I love these 5 plays. Big bounce back. Like I said, we hit a bump in the road yesterday, going 3-4. I'm still on a nice, incredible run, hitting over 60% winners. And I'm super excited for these 5 best bets in Sunday's NFL action. I got my 10-star AFC game of the week, 10-star NFC game of the month, and 3 more 10-star best bets. And they're nice, easy gridiron winners. Jump aboard. Can't miss out. NFL Sunday Big Ticket.
Well, thanks, Rod, for joining us. We'll see you in just a few minutes for our premium show with Brian, Joe, and myself. And, of course, we see you every single day here on PickDawgz. And
that's definitely something you don't want to miss out on. So jump aboard, follow the link below, join the VIP YouTube premium show.
Yep,
Can't miss out on that.
We're going to, after the show, it's going to be a quick premium and then right into the VIP. This way we'll be able to do the early games. I got a couple complaints about yesterday. Well, one complaint out of thousands of people. So it's always one. Anyways, Joe, well, definitely gone through a big crowd of people here today. This is our longest, biggest show we've ever done together. I don't know. It's still a bunch of games we didn't cover, and maybe Brian will have one of those with us. Of course, we saved Brian for last. I'm not sure why. I think he just likes to go last because this way no one can refute his testimony, and he gets to take pot shots at everybody else, something that he likes to do. But he did have Vandy yesterday, so it might be a little bit quiet in that respect. Let's see. Let me see what we got here. All right, we got them all queued up. And Brian, welcome to the show. You are
I like going last. Yeah, I like going last. I like to throw people under the bus, so this is the best time slot for that, for sure.
This is the bus slot. I'll use my bus emoji here to signify that. Go. But so what have you got going on today as far as NFL picks for our show?
Yeah, yesterday 2-0 with the college picks for free, and then I'm going to see what I can do with these NFL. This first game we've discussed, or you guys have discussed pretty much today, but I'm still going to give it to you. I like the New England Patriots here minus the points. I don't think we can read too much into that Saints huge blowout win in Week 1. I think the stars aligned for Jameis Winston, who is a turnover machine. I think that Bill Belichick is going to have a defense ready for him. I think Mac Jones is a great game manager so far in his young career. Look for a very low-scoring game today. I think New England pulls away late. Patriots 18-7-1 against the spread last 26 games, following a straight-up win of 14 or more points. I'd lay the 2.5, 3 points with no juice with the New England Patriots.
Joe, you've gone over this one.
I like it. Yeah, I haven't changed my mind in the last 10 minutes. I'm definitely loving it, Brian.
I'm with you too. Brian and I, most people think we don't agree on much, but actually we usually do agree, and that's why when we don't agree, it's normally pretty heated. But in this one, I have to agree with them. I don't see it. You don't
see many game managers that are rookies right off the bat like Mac Jones, but so far he's controlled turnovers, which will lead to victories.
Well, Bill Belichick generally puts his quarterbacks in a position where, to show their very best. And I think he's done that. He's doing that so far with Mac Jones. Even the game they lost to Miami, they were in position to win. They were on the 10-yard line when they fumbled. But what else do we have?
In my game number 2, and it was one that was supposed to be a premium pick for me today, but I was half asleep when I sent Joe my plays today. So, and I'm sure we'll argue about this one. My best free pick is the Jacksonville Jaguars here, plus the points. I think we see the tale of two teams have performed opposite of one another. You got the Arizona Cardinals, who could not have looked better than what they have shown through the first 2 weeks. And they have the Rams on deck next. So for me, it's a prime look-ahead game for the Arizona Cardinals. Jaguars will get better, I think, as the season progresses. I think this is a 7-point road win for Arizona, who are just 4-10 against the spread last 14 as a favorite. I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars plus the points here, plus the public making love to Arizona here in a big-time way. So I like the Jaguars.
But even though we're seeing an inverse reaction here, like what you said, 9% more of the money than the bets on the Jaguars here, 17-26. The line is still going up.
Is it past 7.5? Because that's what
8.
It's been at.
It's at 8, and there's a 9 out there.
I still like the Jags today. It should have been a premium, but I made a mistake, and so I'm giving that for free.
Joe, you buying into Urban Meyer here? She looks frozen. Nope, unfrozen.
Yeah, so I'm totally frozen. It's been breaking up so bad on me, you guys.
We
I
got
didn't
you.
hear a word Brian said.
Well, you didn't miss much. He took the Jags.
Yeah, I knew.
Shamelessly. He shamelessly took the Jags.
Against the Cardinals. Okay. You know, this is one where I really don't want to take a side. I think with what we've seen out of the Jags offensive line, it scares me to get behind the Jags on this. I think Kyler Murray is a better quarterback, and the Cardinals should come out, but I don't know. I'm looking at the over in this game. I'm not going to touch the side.
I think in this one, either go Cardinals alternate line and lay, almost 2 touchdowns here, or you take the Jags money line. I don't see this one being a close Arizona win. That's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
So
I think their first 2 games have been close, haven't? Wait,
Arizona?
Week
they beat the
was
Titans by about
win.
650 points.
Week 1 was a
road
blowout
game this
win.
season.
Yeah.
They had Chandler Jones had 5 sacks against Tannehill in one game. They also have J.J. Watt on the same team. But that's, against a rookie quarterback. But that's, that's a different story for a different day. Brian, what do you got for sale today?
I got my super sharp 5-pack, my 5 sharpest plays in the NFL, including my NFL game of the month, my biggest play in the NFL this month. You can get
Guaranteed,
it $30.
right?
Guaranteed. Get it at PickDawgz.com. Off a 2-3 day. I started out a loser and finished a winner, won my last couple games. So hopefully we carry some momentum into Sunday, which has been better to me than college football this year. So.
Oh, Brian, it's not about, 1 week or one game. Brian consistently winning over the years. So that's really how you win in sports betting. Yeah, we all have winning days and winning weeks, and you see these guys out there. Oh, I went 6-0. I get emails anytime anybody that caps games anywhere, even if they do it in their basement. Anytime they go 6-0 or 5-0, I get an email from them, and telling them how they're going to save us. But to be able to do it over the long haul, I think that it's easier said than done. And I think that's why when we have our Become a Capper contest, which we will have next month, you'll see a lot of you will find out what it's like to go every single day when you can't take a pass, and to stick your neck out there, and to have that that Thursday night football game that you really didn't care about, Charlotte versus, UTSA or something, count just as much as your game of the year in the standings, and that's just the way that it works. But anyways, Brian doing it over the long haul, of course, doing it here at PickDawgz, PickDawgz Premium and PickDawgz VIP. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in just a couple minutes. Joe, another good show. I mean, this was our longest show we've ever done. Of course, we're together a few more times today, halftime, the early games, the afternoon games, and the evening games. And, it looks like a full card of NFL football. And, of course, a lot of people complimenting us on the timestamps on the game, and Joe does that too. So she's kind of doing it all here and really, helping out a ton. Appreciate her. But, Joe, another enjoyable Sunday morning.
Yeah, a great way to start. I am going to put an espresso machine right here, though, because I need another cup of coffee between this show and the premium. I'm excited for today. I want to wish you guys all the best. And if you are not on our premium or VIP membership shows, make sure you join up. It's such a great steal. And again, you can find all of our picks over at PickDawgz.com.
I've been sipping an empty cup of coffee here for the last 45 minutes. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you. Let's make it a winning day. I'm going to try and act more professional tomorrow. We got a super small card tomorrow, so we'll have a day to rest up on this one. Have a great day, and we'll see you guys halftime of the early games. Be sure to join us right here on PickDawgz.